Welcome to Learned in Go-Go, the podcast. Hey, this is Sydnee A. I am your host and author of Everything I Need to Know, I Learned in Go-Go, How a Preacher's Daughter Pole Danced Her Way to Finding Her True Self. I am so freaking excited. It is episode 4 already. We're like a month in. This is so super exciting. And first of all, I want to thank everybody who has been following along. I appreciate you guys so much for backing me up on this journey. It has been so fun so far, and I know it's just going to get more and more interesting as the adventures continue. So thank you for following me on social media as well, at Sydnee Author page on Facebook and at Sydnee Author on Instagram. So if you're not following me there yet, please do, and that will keep you in the know with all things podcast, book, tour dates when I start touring around, which is something that if you have any advice on how to do that, please reach out to me. Give me, if you have an in, I would love to talk to you about it. And so today, it's the 15th, but we're just going to pretend it's still the 14th, and we're going to do Valentine's Day. It's our Valentine's Day episode, and I am going to bring in my producer, Frankie, to say hi to. How was your Valentine's?
Valentine. I always wanted to meet this guy. I got a lot of questions for him. But I want to just circle back on one thing that you had mentioned, and that was a little bit about the book and the tour dates. Yeah, we've been in contact, Sydnee and I, that kind of want to get the ball rolling and get some ideas down. And we're going to do our goal and plan, so to speak, is to kind of have maybe 6 or 7 locations to start, go around. Almost not your typical book signing of at the desk kind of thing. We want to have it more like a party, almost like a Valentine's Day for the book. And Buffy is having a great time right now, which is always important.
I was just going to say, my dogs are very excited. So yay!
They heard book tour.
Yes, and they heard Galentine's, and they are gals.
They are gals. So that's just a little bit about that. So yeah, if there's a location you might have in mind, or if there's something that you want to become a sponsor for it, and we can promote something for you, let us know. Keep us posted. More details to follow. But yes, Valentine's Day. It's one of those holidays that people typically look at Valentine's Day as, what's the man gonna do for the lady? Okay, and that's typically how it is, and that's what I've always seen. But what about us? This is why this episode's gonna be so good, because we have a male perspective and we have a female perspective. And with that being said, I do have 7 sisters, so I can also have the mindset of a woman. But tonight we're manly. We're sticking on to our guns. Now, I've had a couple gals that have done things they'll do something for me on Valentine's Day. I can't wait. There's the card and stuff like that, but has it ever been role reverse where the girl just went full throttle? Oh, this is your day, honey. This is about you. And it's oh, this is great. Hey, you're just feeling like a gal.
See, that's the thing. As a woman, I like to make every day Valentine's Day for my partner. So to me, it's not that big of a deal. Also, I'm a lot older now, and when I was younger, I think it was a bigger deal to make sure you had someone on Valentine's Day, and it was a big deal. But now, Dave and I agreed years ago, we just give each other a card, and that's it. And because there's so many other things that we need to spend money on that to us it's not, but I know there's other couples that it's a huge deal, and there's no right or wrong to it. It's all the expectations that you and your partner have. You just have to make sure that the other person knows what's expected, because if you're a Valentine's Day is not a big deal and your partner is, somebody's going to get hurt feelings. You know what I mean?
I know exactly what you mean.
Yeah. But I always try to, do the fancy dinner and all that. Like, that doesn't have to be February 14th. That can be, hey, I was thinking about you. I got you this card that just says love you, you know, because a lot of
Nothing
Valentine's
wrong
Day
with that.
cards are corny.
Well, I mean, that's why I went, above and beyond, and I created my own card. I showed that yesterday. It was so right over there right now, and she
I was going
loved
to ask how that went over. Did she like
it.
it?
It was hysterical. It was
Nice.
hysterical.
Nice.
Absolutely
I'm not going to
hysterical.
put you on the spot if you don't want to share what it said, but if it was,
I mean, I could go get it, but people will have to actually see. I will actually. Hold on a second.
well, since this is probably going to be an audio only podcast, we'll have to describe this. First of all, the card that Frankie made is gigantic. It's not a card size card. I believe it's a trifold cardboard thing like you have for the school science fair.
That's exactly what it is, and
Okay.
for those who'll be able to see the show every now and then, we'll actually clip this and put this on our YouTube channel. So the only way you're going to be able to see what the card says is if you follow along on there. So it's like a science fair project board. We're showing it now on the screen. It says, "Roses are red, violets are blue. Happy Valentine's A." And you're forgetting the letter there. And you put my head through it, and I got a little body there, and it says at the top, "I'll give you the D. I'll give you the D later." And then a nice little message. But yeah, my head's through the box
you have
right
to
now.
check this out on YouTube. There's no way to describe what I'm looking at. I love it. I love the creativity. You get mega points for creativity there.
It was good, and then that's something like I've never done before. We were kind of having this conversation last night. I've never created a big card like that for someone, and I also never. The other gift that I got was we have a photo shoot scheduled, which is something that I've actually never even considered with anybody, and I was engaged.
Wow.
I'm sure those times would have came, but we never even talked about let's go get a photo shoot done. And I was with her for a long time. So those are two things that I look in the right direction as growth within the relationship aspect too of it, wanting to try new things. So Era's very, very big old flowers. I did not do the flower thing because of one, I wanted to it's just very typical for me. And I knew that I knew that's kind of what she wanted to, but I guess I don't want to say held my guns, but I just went a different route. It's hard to just get the flowers are pretty for 2 days and then they die. But then again, I look at it from her perspective, and it was something that she wanted. But those are the two things that we had dinner together, great dinner. We cooked dinner together. That was really good. Yeah, so that's what we did. It was cool. It was fun. She got me a little stuffed animal. The dog probably already got to him, but that's okay.
Major's thank you for my Valentine's gift.
He got cookies.
Aw.
He's wild, dude. He took a dump on the floor yesterday, like a little Valentine's Day Cupid
He was
delivery.
giving you Valentine's chocolates he made himself. That's what that was.
And it's funny because
down.
Yeah, I see Muffy's tails flying back and forth. Another clip you'll have to see on the YouTube channel. So what happened was with the dog, the poo came out very, very odd. Yes, we're still on the poo thing here. Happy Valentine's Day.
I was going to say we've gone from Valentine's Day to poop with my dog microphone.
I know, I saw that. So we gave the dog this big bone from a butcher, and apparently when you have too much bone, it does something to the dog's poo.
Okay, so this is a Valentine's Day advice. Don't get too much bone, or it might affect your poo. Is that
yeah, and take that as you will. I mean, that could be a lot of different things.
Yeah, this is taking a turn for sure. Is he okay now? Is the question.
Yeah, his poo's okay.
Okay, well, good. I'm glad because he's a cutie pie doggy. So
yeah, he's a bad doggy, but he's a good doggy.
But back to the Valentine's Day thing, I think the biggest thing about it is the sentiment behind it. I would never want to be with somebody who's only doing those things because, well, if I don't, then I'm going to have to hear her mouth. You know what I mean? Like, I would rather just get, like a hug and an I love you because it's sincere than, you know what I mean? Like, because I've had, well, what should we do? Should we do Valentine's Day history first? Or should we do like different gifts we've gotten in the past? Like,
Well, I
what,
think. Well, I think people probably, for those who don't know what Valentine's Day is, we'll give a little history on it, a brief history. I mean, most people probably don't want to, the song and dance about it, and but
oh,
like,
no,
the
no, we're
history
not
of
going to do
Valentine's
a
Day, I think
thesis.
is important.
Yep.
Yeah, well, yeah, and just for the record, we're not going to be doing a thesis.
No,
But yeah,
no.
I'm curious to learn a little bit too. So let's do the life lesson of Valentine's Day and its origins.
Well, the thing is, I actually found out something because I always figured it was a saint. So to me, that's Catholic, like a Catholic holiday had something to do with love. And then you got a little flying baby because of Cupid. But I wasn't exactly sure how it all tied in together. Those were just the symbols I've always seen. So I figured we got Catholic flying babies and love you.
Catholic flying babies. They always have a
So
diaper, like you know what I mean. It literally is.
I, but it's kind of like baby New Year too. Like maybe they're related somehow. But anyway, we'll go back to Valentine's Day. So what I found out was that the Catholic Church recognizes at least 3 different saints named Valentine. So it's not even just one Saint Valentine. And it's everything from he became a saint because he was killed attempting to help Christians escape Roman prisons. He sent the first Valentine greeting after he fell in love with a young girl, possibly his jailer's daughter. So that's where, and he signed it, love your Valentine, because that was his name. So that's where like "You're My Valentine" came from.
That's probably
According
where that
to the
comes from.
History Channel. That's where I'm getting my information.
Yes, the History Channel, history.com is where we have our information from. We'll make sure that we give them a little plug. But yeah, there's some interesting stuff on this site. If you check it out, there's like the history shorts, the first Valentine. But it's crazy when you dive into the origins of these things because like you learn so much. Now, this was a pagan festival too, right? Or something that has been
Well, that's
started
what
with
I
the
was going to
pagan.
get into too after
Yeah.
Cupid, because you go from the Catholics celebrating Saint Valentine for rescuing people from the Romans, but then Cupid was possibly a Roman god, possibly Greek, depends, because they kind of overlap their stories a little bit. But it says that he might have been the son of Aphrodite and Zeus, who would have been both his father and grandfather. So some traditions are what?
Yeah. Yeah, it's crazy. And then literally, and then the love, like when they think of like the love thing. So like obviously you're gonna hear different versions, but then as you get into like today's world, they once again from history.com, they mentioned that February 14th was the start of birds mating season. And
Right.
that's kind of how it started as well. A lot of different reasons. And then who is Cupid?
Right. And there's different gods and goddesses that could be his parents. And then how did he get the job of shooting people with arrows? That's not on here.
We'll have to
It
have Cupid
doesn't
on the
say.
show sometime.
Yeah, that would be pretty cool. Anybody got an in with Cupid? Let us know.
Yeah, do you know
Maybe
who
there's
actually?
a Delco Cupid.
There's got to be a Delco Cupid. We'll have to talk to Mark about that. I'm sure that they'll be at the Media Comic Con if they're around.
That would be awesome. But you
Maybe I'll be
mentioned the
Cupid.
pagan festival, which
Yes,
was what I had never heard of. I hope I'm saying this correctly. Lupercalia, I believe is the name of it. And
yeah, that's what I gathered. Tough word.
Yeah, Lupercalia was an ancient pagan festival held each year in Rome on February. We're back to Rome on February 15th. So it says that even though Valentine's Day shares its name with a martyred Christian saint, some historians believe the holiday is actually an offshoot of Lupercalia. But Lupercalia was a bloody, violent, and sexually charged celebration awash with animal sacrifice, random matchmaking, and coupling in the hopes of warding off evil spirits and infertility. So that's a lot bigger deal than chocolates and flowers. Like, I actually was reading and I'm like sitting here going, okay, I want to know where they find out this history. Like, I want to see the original writings or, like where they learned this information, because there was ritual sacrifice of goats that they would I feel terrible about the goats, but they would use their skins and make these like straps, and the men would go and smack the women with a strap, and if you got smacked, you had to have sex with the dude.
That's kind of like that could be the start of like BDSM. Maybe we're unlocking something there. I'll tell you this. I blame Hallmark. Hallmark is the reason why Valentine's Day has existed, if you ask me.
Well, what this is like the first reality show, is what it sounds like to me. Like, this is The Bachelor BC is what this is.
The Bachelor BC.
I think that we have an idea here.
That's actually
but we'd have to use fake goats, though. I wouldn't want to do that.
Yeah, we don't want to hurt the animals, that's for sure. But yeah, it's that Hallmark. I'll tell you that I think that they definitely were the ones that started this. They're the ones that are really profiting a lot, and the chocolate companies. They just all teamed up.
Cadbury started the chocolates on Valentine's Day.
Had the Cadbury eggs with like the little cream inside. There's that little bunny.
Yeah, that's in a couple months though. We'll do a Cadbury Easter show. Maybe we'll get them to sponsor us.
Yeah, we'll have to pull them. Cadbury eggs, man. Those things are delish. So that's the origins of Valentine's Day. A lot of different stories behind. It almost felt like we were looking into the old what's those magazines that like have like the fake news in them?
The National Geographic. Oh, like the Inquirer, the ones in the grocery store checkout.
Yeah, it's like Tom Cruise and Ben Affleck lovers after all these years, like just some outrageous.
That's what I was reading the Pagan Festival, because they're like, you would pick a name out of a jar and then go off and sleep with that person. But I mean, I guess it helped spread.
I'm sure people still do that today. People probably still do that today.
I'm telling you, it's the Bachelor BC version. It's just, I instead of here's this rose, it's here's this goat shred. I'm going to smack you in the ass, and now we're together.
10 shillings.
But yeah, I'm glad that Valentine's Day is what it is for us now. So I asked on my one social media account for people's best and worst gifts that they got on Valentine's Day, and I got some good answers. Someone got a stapler.
A stapler.
Where
was that guy from the Office Space?
Oh, Milton. I want my stapler back. I'm going to burn down the building. I love Milton.
He's that dude.
A best. Someone got a barbershop quartet to come sing to them. I think that's pretty cool. Showed up at their job and sang songs.
I would do that like as a joke, like a mariachi band. Remember the mariachi band that harassed you and you had to leave?
Yep. I picked up the table at the resort where I was staying. My friends and I picked up the table and took it out to the pool to escape the mariachi band because they would not leave us alone. And it was beautiful music, but there's, when you're trying to have dinner conversation. Let's see what other answers we have here. A birthstone ring. That sounds beautiful. There's a whole story behind it too, but I didn't ask her if I could share the story, so I won't do that. Let's see here. A bunch of homemade Valentine's Day cards. See, that's what I'm saying. It doesn't have to be expensive or crazy. It's the sentiment behind it that is what is important. The worst, somebody got broken up with over the phone on Valentine's Day. That's just shitty.
Broken up.
Shitty.
I got broken up with by one time on AOL Instant Messenger. Yeah.
Wow, that's like a step up from a Post-it.
Abe.
That's terrible.
The funny thing was, it was on their away message. Like she said, I remember her saying like, "Oh, message me," and I messaged her, and then her away message popped up, and that's what it was.
So it
I'm
wasn't
sorry,
just that you
baby.
saw it, it was that anybody that went on her AIM could see that she broke up with you.
Maybe so. I guess I have to look at the. It's funny because I tell this story every now and then, and I'll definitely have to tell her that I was talking about it. I won't say her name, but yeah, we did it when we were like 7th grade. We're still friends today. It's crazy. Um, and we were just kids, but like I always tell her like how like you broke up with me. Oh no, AIM. No, I went through so much after that.
Yeah, AIM was a thing back then, man.
I had the name, man. My name was Save the Whales.
Save the whales. See, I was just
Yeah.
Sydnee 75. I have not changed in all these years. I'm just me.
Yeah, Save the well, ironically, it's same with me because I like thicker women, and that's what Save the Whales came from. So I'm saying still same
Oh,
guy.
I see. Okay. Well,
Little fun fact for the audience out there. Yeah.
there
Yeah.
you go. Yeah, my favorite Valentine's Day card I actually bought for myself because I thought it was so cute. And it said it was a Valentine's Day poem from the dog. And it said, "Roses are red, violets are blue. Sometimes I like to drink from the toilet." The end.
That's the most amazing card ever. Like those are the
It was so cute.
ones I love. Like those are the ones I'll send my dad. Like my so I for those of I have like 2 dads pretty much, my biological father and my stepdad who's been in my life forever. Like I'll send one to him. Like he was like a big scary general contractor, rah rah rah, always loud. And I'd send this card that says like to dad, and you open up and it says, "I really like you. Thank you," or some dumb shit. I think you have such a warm heart. He's like, "Well, what the fuck is this?"
Right? That's funny.
Shaking it, making sure there's no dollars coming out. I'm like, wait, come on.
Well, it's funny because I put another post up yesterday on my social media just asking for answers. And this one was question of the day: name a bad Valentine's Day gift to give to a woman. And
Man,
I
did I
think
ever get
you talking about how the onus is on the man to do most of the work, like this is a good guide of what not to do. Especially the first answer I got was crabs. And I think that is a perfect thing
like
not to give a
the
woman.
seafood? This
Not the
like a
seafood.
seafood boil?
No. You might get boils, but not a seafood boil.
We're
Yeah,
not talking
like
about the
we're talking
Dungeness.
about body lice. Yeah,
We're
don't do that.
not the
Don't do that.
Dungeness.
Valentine's VD is for Valentine's Day, not venereal disease. So keep that in
Venereal.
mind. See, I keep saying I'm old. So back in, we didn't say STD at first. It was VD, then it was STD. Now it's STI, I believe. So it just keeps
Sexually
evolving.
transmitted infection.
Probably. I'm not sure. I've seen it in writing, but it could be ickies. I don't know.
It could be the icky, the
ickies.
ickies, yeah.
Yeah.
Transmitted ickies, yeah.
Yeah. We have weight
Remember,
loss pills, which would not work for you. You would never do that.
somebody actually did that? Oh
I
my
think so.
god.
Yep.
Maybe she was. We need to get him on the show or her on the show.
How do you give somebody that? Like that would be
I
horrible.
need to know the origins of that. So when you listen to this episode, we're gonna have to. I need feedback on that. I don't care if they come on another episode or what. I need. That sounds like a My Crazy Ex's episode right there.
I think it might have just been a funny answer, not a true answer. Because
I need intel.
has like the Family Feud, like so I think it might not have actually happened. I think it might have just been a funny answer. I hope so. Because that would be that's what gets people in jail on Valentine's Day. You give somebody weight loss pills.
I'm already going to get on it, and I'm going to see who it was.
Yep.
On your social media, but we got so many social medias that I got to find out which one it is.
Yep. I liked one of my besties put iron and ironing board, and then her husband commented, "Oops, I got to go get another gift now."
Hey, listen, social media brings the world together. That's why everybody should be following Sydnee A on her Facebook page at Sydnee Author page and on her Instagram at Sydnee Author. And of course, if you want to buy a copy of the book, Everything I Learned in Go, I always mess that up. because I'm always reading the
Because you do,
podcast.
but it's okay. It's a long title, so I forgive you. It's Everything I Need to Know I Learned in Go-Go.
Everything I need to know, I learned in Go-Go. The book, visit www.learninggogo.com for a copy of the book.
WWW.
Just a WWWB. Remember that? Remember the WB guy? We were just talking about WB Mason.
That's right, we were.
What do you think WB Mason got his gal, his Dane?
Office supplies, because he's got them at tons and tons of them. But you know what? Maybe he used his paper to make homemade cards.
I think that, you know, he was just a screened class. I think he just went out of the box. They went on a fancy dinner. Oh, Mr. Mason, please. Maybe he was related. Maybe WB Mason was related to James Mason.
Maybe.
Careful, cigarette children. They kind of have that resemblance look, and WB Mason definitely looks like he sounds like James Mason.
He looks like he would hang out with Sherlock Holmes, though. So, given his little like curly mustache, maybe he gave his woman a mustache ride.
Sounds good. Sounds like something that we'll probably learn about later on in our stripper cinema. Maybe there's a little mustache riding in that book. That movie, but we'll get there.
Stay tuned.
Yeah, stay tuned. But I'm gonna give my 2 cents on the best and worst, and thank you, by the way, everybody that had give us their thoughts and opinions and little back and forth with us on social media. We're actually gonna take those responses and throw them on a poll and do a little voting. So make sure you tune in to see who the big winner is. But yeah, a lot of good responses. So thank you for that. So I think one of the best gifts I've ever gotten, and maybe it wasn't even Valentine's Day. I did a private. I think I might have told you I did a private plane ride around the city with someone before. I think that was a birthday though. It was a birthday and the second day I did it twice with somebody.
That's impressive right there. That's amazing.
Yeah, it was dope. Yeah, it was dope. Yeah, the first girl I did it with was a doctor. She was like, "Are you serious?" I'm like, "You're damn right I am."
Well, she was a doctor. You should have said, "as a heart attack."
No.
See, make a little doctor joke.
Boom.
Exactly. That's what I'm here for.
She's here. She's here all week, everybody.
Yeah, exactly. And then
that
you
was a good one.
Joke about her giving you a heart on.
You're just full of them tonight, aren't you? I don't mean the hard-ons. I mean the jokes.
Yes.
This is a family show here. So
I
can't care for a smoke, children.
Right, exactly. Learning how to count with James Mason.
Learning how to count with James Mason and the Chipmunks. So, yeah, I mean some of those ones that some of our fans and viewers were commenting in, man, like the diet pills or the water pills. Like, I think the worst gift I ever got someone actually was on Christmas. I think I might have even told you the story yesterday. What a girl I dated. I know this is aside from Valentine's Day, but I'm just thinking of gift giving in general, just for the sake of story. I threw out one of her Christmas presents on accident and wrapped up the wrong box. And when she went to unfold it, it was a box of trash. It was
I don't even know how you react to opening a box of trash.
It was we couldn't stop laughing. It was so the funniest. It was just like, what? I was like, oh man, I knew I threw away the wrong box. Yep. And I sure did. So I just wrapped up that. Oh, I mean, the thing is that I'm starting to think about, did I know that was trash in there and I just wrapped it up?
You just subconsciously did it. I actually dated a guy years and years and years ago. And again, it was Christmas, but gift giving conversation. Every time I'd ask, well, what do you want for Christmas? Nothing. What do you want? Nothing. So I wrapped an empty box and I gave it to him. I said, I gave you exactly what you wanted. It was a box of nothing.
Thank you.
If you're not going to at least give me a little hint. And then I did have another couple presents, but that was I could not wait to give him his box of nothing.
The old nothing.
Yep.
I'm about that life. I respect it. But yeah, the fans came up with some really, really, really crappy gifts and some good ones. So we'll definitely be putting them on the social media so people can vote. But yeah, Valentine's Day's always been it's funny because I used to go big on it. I would go big on it, but I guess the older you get, the more money you got to spend, and I'm just all about creativity. I'm all about creativity. I
Well, I
know
was
enough
going to say,
people
I
to.
like the creative presence, like rather than spending money. And I know that there are people that absolutely love jewelry and things like that. And that's wonderful. If that's what you like, I wear, my wedding rings and these earrings I got when Dave and I had our first Christmas together 16 years ago. And that's pretty much I got a belly ring. Other than that, I don't wear jewelry. I'm just not a jewelry person, but I know some people are, and that's an amazing gift if that's what you like. And that's why I said you need to talk about expectations when you're with someone so that no one gets hurt feelings because, of a miscommunication.
Yeah, I think
You
that,
know,
that's definitely important. Is that communication of what to expect? If there, it's is it worse that if you have the expectations doesn't happen, or is it worse if like you create your own expectation in your mind and it doesn't happen? Like, I guess that's where that communication has to come from. But
right. And you
yeah,
can't
I mean,
expect,
you're
like,
right.
if somebody is struggling financially for them to put themselves in a deeper hole because one day a year Cadbury and Hallmark say that if you don't get a big expensive thing, then you're not loved. Like, you should be able to know you're loved without it. It should be a fun extra, not, this is, if you don't do it, you don't love me, kind of thing. So just
You
my
don't
opinion.
love me if I don't get Mr. T jewelry. Like, that's not
Oh my
people with just
gosh.
the bling.
Yeah.
He's still alive, right? Mr. T's still kicking it, right?
He's absolutely still alive. He does voices for things. He was just in a commercial not that long ago. Not that long, probably like 2 years ago. But
You,
in
you
recent
never.
history, he's been around. Speaking of things in history that probably shouldn't be around, we can go into stripper cinema for this
Up, up,
week.
up, strippers, 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 strippers. Stripper
Cinema.
cinema. I'm a huge fan of stripper cinema, and stripper cinema is brought to you by, once again, the book. If you want
Yay!
to purchase a copy of the book, visit www.learnandgogo.com. Everything I need to know, I learned in Go-Go from Sydnee A. She is the author. She's also the host of the podcast. So get yourself a copy, and check her stuff out. Absolutely. So stripper cinema.
Yes, I have to give a little excuse before we go into this week's stripper cinema. So every week, my husband and I watch a movie together so that I can review it on this podcast. And the idea that I had was that it either features a stripper, has a scene in a gentleman's club, has something to do with go-go. And I've gotten my ideas from, I just Googled films with strippers and got a list from IMDb. I figured IMDb would be a reliable source for movies. I figured wrong. So this week, the movie is called Succubus. Dave and I decided we wanted to do an older movie. So this one is from 1968. And Frankie, do you have the director and writer and all that information handy?
Yeah, so it's funny because it wasn't actually easy to find. So it's starring Janine Raymond, Drac Taylor, um, but the where is it? It's a Franco classic, is what they're saying. So the gentleman's name, I think, I'm not going to say James Franco because I just think that's the obvious one come to my head. But well, I'll get that info for us. Oh, here it is. So directed 1968 West German horror film directed by Jesus Franco and starring Janine Ryan, Jack Taylor, Adrian Hovan, and Michael Lemoyne. Yeah, so it's an old school film, 1968. But yeah, Succubus, really interesting. And for those who will be watching the show, you'll be able to see we actually have a trailer. I can't believe we actually have a trailer. So this trailer is interesting. It totally brings you back to just that in a world where both our cars are underwater. Like, it just has that guy. He actually sounds like James Mason when you hear his voice. He's just
He
it,
does, and the quality of the video, I said it looked like my kids could have made this movie on their DS. Like, I mean, and I know it's from 1968, but real quick before before we see the trailer, I was trying to find on IMDb. It had this is what drew my attention. And it's written by Anonymous, and it does use a word we don't use anymore. So I'm going to, just say dated language. It says, Janine Renaud stars as a nightclub stripper who free floats through a spectral 60s landscape littered with dream figures, dancing midgets, and bizarre S&M games. Who wouldn't be interested in this? Like, it sounds
interesting,
fantastic, right? So, okay, I just wanted to say, like I said, my defense for picking this movie was because I was given that information, which was not correct.
Well, listen, I mean, you have to just check the movie out. This could be somebody's favorite movie out there. They could be like, oh my God.
Absolutely. We all like different things. I'm just saying that's what I went into it expecting the movie to be about, because I had read that on IMDb.
Okay. When I first heard this, I thought it was going to be like a ghost or something like that, like a ghoulish. Because a succubus is a ghost that performs sexual acts, a female ghost that performs sexual acts on you. So I thought that it was going to be something like that. I would have definitely been fully invested in that. But let's take a gander here. Just trying to get the screens down here. Remove the stage. Blah blah. All right, we're gonna play the trailer. It's 2 minutes long. We'll probably jump in every now and then during to probably make fun of things about it. But here it is. It'll be audio only for those listening. But if you tune in to watch the episode, on all the
and just a real quick disclaimer too, not to cut you off, Frankie, but I know that in the rating for this show, it does say it's explicit. If you're watching this, there are boobs.
There are boobs.
If people have kids in the room, I don't know why you would have made it this far with some of the things we're talking about. But just so no one gets caught off guard, there are boobs in the trailer. And if you're interested in seeing boobs, you might be able to catch this on YouTube.
Yes. And here we go. We'll start it off. This is Succubus.
I am Lorna, erotic love queen.
Erotic love queen.
I am Lorna, erotic love queen. And now it says succubus in very Flintstones meets Scooby-Doo font.
It almost looks like I am the erotic love queen.
Yes.
Succubus, a creature of the imagination, seeking exotic experiences beyond the imagination.
There's 2.
A disciple who mirrors my own image, the essence of evil, a devil on earth.
Who talks like that anymore?
They don't. This was 1968.
We look in the mirror, we see one, and immediately I get a boner.
I like how she's running outside down the steps in this flowing blood red gown with these black panties. She's just living out her devil woman fantasy.
I'm the love machine, and I ain't got nobody but you. Yeah, baby.
Hit play.
Chicago, that darling town.
First, there was Dolce Vita. Then, Boccaccio 70.
So everybody has these little hats on of these dogs.
Well, what they don't show before this scene, they're in someone's living room and she's rolling around on the carpet. They actually went around with a silver tray and held it under everyone's face while they gave them a big old block of a sugar cube of acid. So everybody's tripping balls right now. That's why they're barking dog. This had nothing to do with the movie, though. It was all of a sudden they're at a party tripping balls and dogs are barking. And it was just very strange.
Let's keep it rolling.
And now, Succubus.
Have you ever loved a woman, Lorna? I love everything. I love
orgy of sensual sensations. Starring the continental favorite Janine Reynaud.
She looks good.
Isn't she pretty? She reminds me of Ginger from Gilligan's Island.
Yes.
She's got that red, and especially in this scene, she's wearing a white floor-length gown, which reminds me of...
She looks like Ginger. Yes.
Yeah.
Well done.
She's very pretty.
She's great. She's got it going on.
Definitely. And it was just funny because in one of the reviews, I saw that scene where she was just about to kiss the woman, and they called it something lesbianism. It wasn't like fringe lesbian, but it was kind of like lesbian light was what they were calling it. And that is a good description of what happened in the movie. It wasn't anything over the top, but
yeah.
When they're like an orgy for the sense, I'm like, I must have missed that part.
Must have missed that part for sure.
Yeah.
Pay the penalty for not answering correctly.
Haven't I always paid?
What are those?
So it's a room, right? She brings the woman from the lesbian light scene back to her castle, because like you do. And they're walking around the castle and she's showing her the rooms. And this one room is full of mannequins, all wearing dresses from like, Mary Queen of Scots or like, and she starts kissing the woman's trying to make out with her. And then all of a sudden it's like a mannequin arm instead of the woman's arm. And these mannequins all turn around and look. It's freaky as hell.
I don't like it. I don't like dolls. So that whole
then you wouldn't like this.
Yeah, we'll keep going. I might have to close my eye. I don't like dolls.
The most unusual picture of the year.
That's correct.
Perhaps of years to come.
Persons under 16 not admitted. So it's rated X, which also got my attention because, that's an old rating system. And I was like, oh, okay, there's boobs. That's the entire X. There's nothing.
I'm really thrown off this whole movie. Like we saw the scene where they're all. If you watch
the hour and 19 minutes of it, you're going to be real thrown off because it's all kinds of things that don't connect at all. And even the director in an interview said he doesn't understand his own movie. Like, so
we went from Quentin Tarantino to this. Jeez.
Well, that's why I wanted
that's what it's all about.
Something I hadn't heard of before because I didn't want it to all be mainstream stuff. So I wanted to look into something, and that their last scene in the trailer is Lorna on stage with a man and a woman that are on the bondage things, and that's apparently the show that she's in where she's supposed to be a stripper. That's what they called the stripper part. That wasn't. It makes no sense. I'm very sorry if you can hear my dogs in the background. But yeah, it was very bizarre. And then like she'll fall asleep, I guess, and that's when she becomes the succubus because then they'll be talking to her and she acts like she doesn't know what happened. So it's very strange.
Do you want to grab the puppies?
I probably should if you want to talk for a second.
Yeah, Stripper Cinema with Succubus this week was definitely a interesting choice. But I love it because we're getting a wide range of movies. Like last week we had a classic, and then we have this one. Just a wide range. So, and if anybody out there, you may know of a movie in this category, let us know for sure, and I will give you a little
mention. And if you've seen Succubus and I just don't get it, please message me and tell me, like, help me understand what I watched, because I don't know if it's just really cerebral and I don't get it. Like there was one scene, it's her and the guy she called the Admiral, and they play a word association game, and they'd like make out, and then he'd be like chicken and she's like printer, like, I mean, it had nothing to do with that. And then they'd start kissing again and he'd be like, ooh, Denmark, and she's like shoehorn. Like It was like 5 minutes of this. And then there's another part where the girl that was in the end of the trailer, she's got this short blonde hair and really cute. And like she was doing front walkovers in the middle of a club in a bikini. And she'd do a front walkover and be like, chickens have feathers. And then do a front walkover and be like, feathers love men. And then do a front walkover and say, so I'm like, what the hell am I watching? I
sounds
don't
like there's a hidden message in this movie.
That's what I mean. Like, if somebody has decoded this movie, please, I want to understand it. I just left the hour and 20 minutes going, what the fuck was that? I didn't get it. And it wasn't anything I expected from what I read. And even the trailer is completely a different vibe than the movie.
So I guess it's tough to give this one an actual grading. So overall, it seems like it's not going to pass a grading, but maybe we just didn't get it either.
We'll give it points for boobs. There's a lot of boobs.
There was boobs.
Yep. And for scenery, the scenery is gorgeous. I don't know where they filmed it, but I loved the scenery. I think part of it was in Berlin, and maybe part of it was in I don't know, but it was very pretty to look at. And
I think
Lorna's
it says
pretty.
Sweden.
Maybe.
I think that's what I read. I'll look into that.
There were some redeeming things. I don't want to completely poo-poo it, but it was very strange. Very, very strange. So I think next week we might have to do a little bit more mainstream just because I was not expecting that. But
we'll do the transition for sure.
Yep. You can if you're interested, I watched it on Amazon Prime. You can rent it for $1.99. So it's not a big investment. And it's only an hour and 20 minutes. So it's not super long if you're curious. But that was Succubus from 1968.
1968. We're gonna party like it's 1968.
I didn't drop acid myself before I watched it. Maybe it would have made more sense to me.
There are movies out there like that. Like you have to be on some kind of substance to really enjoy it. Like I know Fear Loathing in Las Vegas. That was always a movie I think people used to trip to, and or take shrooms and watch. I'd freak out.
The Wall.
Yeah, I think that's another one too. I'd freak out. There's no way I could do it. I don't do well with those kind of things. I think I tried shrooms one time in my life and I cried my eyes out.
That's not a fun trip.
Grab a grown man crying. I'm sitting here.
Yeah.
Where am I? I want this to stop. I wanted it to stop immediately. It was terrible. Moving on.
Yes. So, thank you guys again, everybody that has been listening for the last 4 episodes. And please subscribe and follow and like and share and all the things. So, like I said, we were talking about Valentine's Day. I was trying to come up with a good assignment for this week. So I think, like I said before, I will have this on my Facebook and my Instagram so you can comment on the post each week. And that way I can see it. You don't have to try to tag me or anything like that. It'll all be there. And every week, anybody that comments is going to get an entry into the monthly book giveaway. So I'm going to give away a book once a month. You have up to 4 times for entries. So if you answer the question every week, you get 4 chances to win. Pretty cool. So this week, my assignment for you is to come up with the best way that you can show yourself self-love, self-care. What you do to take care of yourself mentally, to make sure that you are having some you time. It could be something as simple as journaling. It doesn't have to be going out and paying for a massage, because we can't all afford that. But something simple that you do daily, weekly for self-care that helps you to be your best. That is this week's assignment. And you can look for these posts on Sydnee Author page on Facebook and Sydnee Author on Instagram, and just comment under the post and I will put your entry into the bin.
I love that.
Did you have any last thoughts there, Frankie?
I love that idea, by the way. And then maybe next week we'll share some of ours in the wrap up. We'll do a wrap up segment next week, and we'll talk about some of the things, because I think that is actually such an important question. And hearing other people's ideas to kind of also, hey, that looks like a cool idea. Maybe I'll try that out. So we'll all kind of share along and talk about that, because I know I definitely have a couple things that I'd love to do for me. I think that's a really cool way to end the show.
Absolutely.
Make sure everybody's following the podcast on Spotify, iHeartRadio, everywhere you can find your daily podcast. It's always great. Thank you for the support for the last month. It flies by.
I can't believe it's been a month.
It's been a month. Yeah, it's pretty awesome.
Awesome.
Make sure you follow her on social media at Sydnee Author page on Facebook and on IG at Sydnee Author. Yeah, once again, thank you so much for doing this. Tune in next week. Back to you.
Absolutely. And remember, until we meet again, take on everything head on, because when you try to stick your head in the sand like an ostrich, you think you're hiding, but the rest of the world just sees a big ass. Love ya. See you next week.